Okay, so I'm doing a quick video on this poncho I made a while back. I had a friend on Facebook, Thomas, asked me about how I made this thing. So as you can see, it's a standard poncho type deal. I put a lot of grommets and laces here, and the reason why is you can lace this thing up. I even put some of the back so that when you lace it up, the hole closes completely. Alright, this way you still have basically the equivalent of a wool blanket. But this is a wool blanket, Army wool blanket, 100% wool. And it's hard sometimes to tell the difference between them because in the Army surplus store they have all different types. But this is the 100% wool type. It's kind of a little bit thinner than the one that has polyester, but it actually insulates better and weighs less. So I started with that, and of course you see how I reinforced one side with a little extra nylon, thin nylon. That one I got at Joann Fabrics. And then went around the entire other side with more of the same nylon. This makes it so I can flip this thing around in the rain, and the rain pretty much beads off of this. Although I've considered treating it with a combination of mineral spirits and a clear silicone bath caulking that you mix up. And I've made sil nylon before like that, and it seems to work pretty good. The grommeting is pretty easy. You need one of these grommet tools. It looks like this, right? And they have a little cutter that goes with it, and you take your fabric and smack this through the fabric and makes the hole, and then you ram your little grommety thing inside there. Put that on your die, like so. Put your fabric on top, put the little top on it. This goes on there and smack it, and it flares it out, and you're done. All the sewing I do with a special theater type of thread put out by Seattle Fabrics. It's called a DB92 Poly. This is $6 for this reel of this, and you could just about tow a truck with it. You could probably do the same with button and carpet thread, but this has got to be at least 20 times stronger than this. That you can use this stuff for snare wire, or a lot of times fishing string. It has 100 different uses, but it's a real fine thread, but it's really, really, really strong. It's some kind of poly thread. Anyway, back to this. So sew that up, and then all the way around the edges, I reinforced and put grommets on all the way around, multitude of grommets, because I've used this before to make a shelter with. You can, you know, tarp it out, you know, make your lean-to or whatnot out of it, using it just like a tarp after you, of course, you lace the center up. On the end of it, one side of it, I found a large zipper for sale at the same place. And I put a large zipper on the end, like so. It opens up, so the entire end of it opens up. And this allows me to take pine needles, loose leaves, whatever, name it, whatever kind of debris like that you want to throw in there between the layers, so field expediently, I can up this to the point where it's really insulative, okay? Or I can go and fill it up full of stuff and just throw it down the ground. It becomes kind of like a camping mattress. Anyway, either way, it's really useful that way. And then I just reinforced all the edges where I'm going to put my zipper, and where all the zipper comes together, and on every corner with some real good strong high-end Codura. And you get this stuff by the yard as well. Over again, I got this at Seattle Fabrics. They have a mail order too, but real good, solid, strong Codura. And I use that, of course, in the corners and whatnot to reinforce the blanket in the light nylon so it doesn't rip out. So that's pretty much it. Not that hard to make, a little time consuming. I don't have a machine, so I did it all by hand. But the plus side you find to these things is if you have a little cheap poncho like this that has, you know, a layer in between so you can stuff extra materials, right? Rainproof, and then wool, because wool retains its insulation when it gets wet. It's a pretty good survival item. I always keep this in my pack. Normally I don't go around town wearing this thing because it looks a little freaky, but when I was with my friend Thomas, who asked about it, I was evangelizing at a rainbow gathering, and with all the hippies and people that are there, well, you fit right in. So it worked good, and it was warm, you know, so you hunker down and it's good. The other thing I really like about having a wool blanket like that, and I'll show you real quick here. If you have yourself a little metal cup and a tea candle, okay, what you can do is when you have this thing on, like so, you put your tea candle inside your metal cup, light it, and put it underneath the poncho, and when you hunker down or you sit on a log or something like this, the heat from the candle will heat all up underside this poncho, and even when it's freezing cold out, you're relatively warm. Now if you put a hood on, it'll come up through the hood as well, but that gets me even more, I don't know, for me I have a hard time with hoods. But it vents up like so, and it actually keeps you nice and warm and dry with just a candle up underneath there, even when it's really, really cold. And you still can manage to keep your weight down. Anyway, that's it for my video on Don's hippie survival poncho. Anyway, more gear stuff to come later, but this is just something I learned and have used on and off, and always had one, something like this, since, I don't know, maybe I was 14 years old, and I'm in my 40s now, so I've always had one. They work really well. Anyway, I'm sure there's other design modifications. I'm thinking about putting a hood on it and a few other things, but kind of basic. The big things is to have a situation where you can have space between that you can stuff with whatever materials you have on hand at the site you go to, so you don't have to pack all that insulation and it remains small. And this thing rolls up, you know, that big by about that long. It really doesn't take up that much space. So anyway, enough for now, and maybe I'll do, I don't know what I'm going to be doing next with it. It's going to be more survival or more preaching, but I'm still working with the camera. It seems to want to die halfway through when I'm talking. It has issues with lighting and detail and focus, and I don't know. I'm still new with it all, and I'm just learning now a program called Caden Live, which is going to help me to do some editing so I can put stuff in and whatnot. So hopefully I'll get that done and my videos will get better. Anyway, till then, God bless.